Hello, I'm Bud McCord. Welcome to Food for Thought, Thinking with Jesus. It's November 16, 2020. I hope you're ready to take your thoughts to Jesus. Our devotion today is entitled, Jesus, the Cure for Paralysis. Jesus, the Cure for Paralysis. There is nothing that the presence of Jesus cannot cure. These words are from Mike Wells, an author that has greatly influenced me. There is nothing that the presence of Jesus cannot cure. There are many types of paralysis. Physical paralysis is the most obvious kind, but there are many forms of paralysis that limit our movement with God. In Luke chapter 5, verses 17 to 26, concerned friends bring their paralyzed friend to Jesus for healing. Ripping off the tiles of the roof of the house where Jesus was curing people, these men literally dropped their motionless friend into the presence of Jesus. The story ends with these words from Jesus. I tell you, he said to the man who was paralyzed, get up, pick up your bed and go home. Instantly, the man sprang to his feet before their eyes, picked up the bedding on which he used to lie, and went off home praising God. In the same chapter in Luke, verses 27 to 28, Jesus heals Levi from an entirely different kind of paralysis. This is the same Levi who became one of Jesus' disciples. Later on, Jesus went out and looked straight at a tax collector named Levi as he sat at his office. Follow me, he said to him, and he got to his feet at once and left everything behind and followed him. Levi was just as paralyzed as the other man who was healed by Jesus. Both needed to get on their feet as Jesus spoke, and they needed to head home praising God. Both of them needed to be made able to leave behind the paralysis of their past and follow Jesus. All of us are paralyzed by something that holds us in our limited reality. When our friends take us to the presence of Jesus, or when Jesus comes to the place where we are and where we are paralyzed, everything will change when we hear him say, get up, follow me. There is a direct link between faith and movement, faith and freedom, faith and love. Love is action. It is not reaction. Love is movement. It's carrying our cross and delivering love. Listen to these words about faith they talk about the father of faith, Abraham. They're beautiful words in Hebrews chapter 11. It says this, by faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By faith, he dwelt in the land of promise as in a foreign country, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. Faith and paralysis, spiritual paralysis, do not mix. Abraham is the father of faith. He was the first that was declared righteous by faith, meaning his movement together with God is what allowed him to have a relationship with God. The same thing is true of us. The just shall live by faith. The just are the people who can love as they should. They can love God and they love their neighbor. And there is movement involved in faith. The movement is love. Love is a movement toward the needs of others. Love is what the goal of faith actually is. It's a beautiful picture when we understand it. But there are things that can stop our faith. In John chapter 5, there's a story of another paralyzed man. And in his story, there's a phrase that the man uses while talking to Jesus that illuminates for us what it is that stops our movement. John chapter 5 says this, after this, there was a feast of the Jews and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after the stirring of the water was made well of whatever disease he had. Now a certain man was there who had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered and said, "Sir," and here's the little phrase, "I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well and took up his bed and walked, and that day was the Sabbath. The phrase is, I have no man, I have no man, I have no one. Some translations will say, I have no one. This was the man's fundamental belief about his reality. I have no one. That is a paralyzing statement. It's also untrue for any person of faith. We do have someone, and the someone we have is the same person that was talking to that paralyzed man. The difference is when we believe the person of Jesus when he talks to us. In John chapter 8, Jesus tells us if we will abide in his words, we will know the truth, and the truth will set us free to move. Freedom is the ability to move. It's to be able to express one's true essence. It is a precious thing to be able to move, to be just, to live, to love. But we have to be very careful in the way that we live our lives that we do not let a single lie paralyze us. That's why he says, you must remain in my words and I will set you free. Perhaps the greatest lie that we believe is we have to wait for men to act rather than wait upon the Son of Man to act. Our true work is to believe in the one the Father has sent. To believe in Jesus is to be able to move. To believe in Jesus is to get called out of whatever is paralyzing us in our marriage, in our work, in the mission God has given to us. We do have a man, but he's unlike any other man. He is the Son of Man. He is the Son of God. And when he speaks, we can move forward and love the people we need to love. I pray that you will consider these words. Please, if you have in your heart, I have no one, then you're paralyzed right there. Now let Jesus ask the question, do you want to be cured of this paralyzed state you live in? Do you want to be cured? Do you want to move? Do you want to love? And if you say yes, he will say to you, rise, and you can begin to move back and love those you need to love. Think on these things. Take these words to Jesus. God bless you.